All right, we are live on YouTube. Testing to be sure this is working here before I start moving along too fast. Anybody watching yet? Doesn't look that way. Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? Hey guys, all right, we're live on YouTube and going. Just being sure this was working. We were having a few difficulties here initially. We are now live on Facebook as well. It's been a while since we've done this. Sorry about that. Just wanted to first start by thanking you guys for watching, letting you know also the whole point of doing this is to answer your questions. So whatever you got, I'm all ears and would love to answer any questions you're throwing my way. We have Brian, our publicity and promotions lead, here in the office who's monitoring them, so he's gonna jump in as we go along to see, or to throw out some of your best questions for me. If I'm looking here or here, it's because we're on Facebook and YouTube and gonna try and do the best I can here. First, thanks again for all the support and watching our content. I so appreciate it, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or on broadcast television in the US or cable TV in the US or internationally as well. Your support means a lot. Big announcement, as hopefully you saw on our page today, at least it's big for us. You guys have been asking for a while, where can you watch the full episodes, not just the clips that we post digitally. And obviously you can watch the full new episodes live each week in the US on ABC, NBC, CBS, or Fox stations, on regional sports television networks, or internationally as well. And you can just go to our website, grandbensinger.com for that. But you've been asking for the library episodes, and we just went live with 90 full episodes of the show on Amazon. That's free to Prime subscribers, or if you aren't a Prime subscriber, you can buy per episode. But 90 full episodes just went live on Amazon. We've also launched our podcast where you can listen to the full uninterrupted interviews. So if you get a chance, have any interest, subscribe to that. It's been a fun start to the new season so far. We've done everything from spending part of the day with Dale Earnhardt Jr. to 2 days with Saints head coach Sean Payton, where we got to fly with him on his jet, to the day with Jon Hamm, to a couple days with the world's best wildlife photographer Paul Nicklin, where we were spirit bear trekking with him off the coast of British Columbia. And we have a new one coming out next week. We spent the day in Napa Valley with Danica Patrick at her vineyard. So that's what's coming up. Again, if you get a chance, check us out on Amazon, check out our new podcast, and thanks again for all the support. So that's what we got to start. Again, want to take your questions. And Brian, I was gonna see what some of the best ones are so far.
They are flying.
And this is Brian talking in the back. Come here, say hi. This is.
Hi.
I hope you have to. There we go.
I'm in the camera.
Yeah. All right. So what are
the questions are flying in. So we're gonna have to go a little bit spitfire here.
Okay.
But what drove you to interview Niki Lauda?
And let me know who they're from too, if you can. What drove me to interview Niki Lauda?
Yeah.
I mean, first I saw the movie Rush, which the Brian Grazer, Ron Howard movie, which I thought was fantastic. And Niki Lauda, in addition to winning several Formula One championships and coming back after nearly losing his life, then subsequently went on to have a tremendous amount of business success as well, from commercial aviation to you name it, to now he's obviously head of the Mercedes Petronas F1 a racing team. Fascinating guy. Got to spend 2 days with him in Austria and Belgium, and obviously he's recovering now, had some recent health issues, but glad he's recovering quickly, and we wish him well. But it was one of the best experiences we've had. He's a really fun, sharp legend of a guy.
Brad Lohman just asked, and I've got a bunch of them queued up, but Brad Lohman just asked, have you ever had to go to the bathroom during an interview?
Have I ever had to? All right, a good question, Brad. All right, I'll give you one that Brian doesn't even know about. So we were in Hong Kong a couple of years ago taping an episode with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you know, I forget the exact start time of the interview. It was probably like 10 a.m. And you know, you fly into Hong Kong from the U.S. You know, you have jet lag, your eating schedule, sleep schedule's messed up, and Arnold was running a little late. It's probably 10:15. We know he's going to walk in the door any minute. And what's the saying? Nature called. So I like sprint to the bathroom across the hotel ballroom. You know, mic still on. Hopefully the audio technician wasn't listening to anything. And yeah, that was the closest call I've ever had, and I made it back just as he was walking in. That was kind of brutal. I have always wondered though, and this hasn't happened, knock on wood, I have always wondered if I'm ever going to get the hiccups right before an interview starts, and that's never happened, but I'm sure at some point it will, and that would be very much fun. Again, taking your guys' questions, it seems like we have a bunch coming in, so you know, I'll stick around as long as you guys want, provided Brian wants to. We'll be here all night. No, what's the next one?
One that just came in. Someone offered a lot. Sorry, the names are, the stream is going pretty fast,
okay.
But so I don't have a lot of names. But did you style your interview style after anybody?
Do I style my interview style after anybody? Not really. You know, there are a lot of interviewers though that I have the utmost respect for, all completely different styles, from everyone from Oprah to Howard Stern to Matt Lauer to the late Mike Wallace to Bob Costas to Graham Norton in the UK to even Larry King. Everybody has such different styles, but all, you know, everyone's ability I really respect and aspire to have careers as successful as theirs.
Ellis Betrell asked if you could interview someone who's already died, who comes to mind?
If I could interview someone who's already died, who comes to mind? I mean, a couple people just off the top of my head. Here are just the first people that come to mind. One, Muhammad Ali. So I am 32. I started in the industry when I was in 8th grade and used to, you know, I'd save money to take like one trip a year to cover events. And when I was a freshman in high school, I covered the ESPY Awards in Los Angeles and had the opportunity to interview Muhammad Ali on the red carpet. He skipped everybody on the line. You know, this is Parkinson's had already progressed, so he wasn't doing many interviews anymore, but he slowly walked over to me when I screamed Mr. Ali, Mr. Ali, and my mom was filming, using the camera at the time, helping me out, and it was such a thrill. I would have loved to have the opportunity though to really sit down with him for an extensive interview. That would have been such an amazing experience. The other one who we had been working on for a while that didn't end up happening was the late Microsoft co-founder and Seattle Seahawks owner, Paul Allen. We had made some progress on that, but didn't end up fitting into his schedule, and then he got sick again and recently passed away. So that's another one that I would have loved the opportunity to interview. And then people with looser connection or with no connection to sport. I mean, Michael Jackson would have been amazing. They're just, you know, Jackie Robinson would have been amazing. There's so many, but those are a couple that have come to mind. Again, taking your guys' questions if you have interest in submitting them.
Larry Houdini asked if you are an avid reader, and he also asked if we have an internship program.
Larry, we do have an internship program.
Maybe the website on our, or the email address on our website.
Yeah, you can email Brian just through our website, and that's graham@bensinger.com. We have an intern, 3 interns a year.
Yeah.
So one
Fall,
for
summer, spring.
Fall, summer, spring. So do have an internship program. Resumes certainly welcome. We could use all the help we can get around here. And what was the other part of the question?
Are you an avid reader?
Oh, I read a lot for work. Would like to read more personally, but I'm big into reading autobiographies about successful people. So that's one of the things I love about this show. I have the opportunity to spend a few hours or a couple days with the person we're profiling, and generally it's somebody that's been really successful in their field. And so to have the chance to just sit down and learn from that person and hear about their path to success and motivations and inspirations and aspirations, that's one of the things I love about the show. So I read a lot of autobiographies, read more for work, read the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Daly, some of the trades. I left college after a year and a half, but education is something that's so important to me, so I try and do whatever I can to, stay educated.
I'm gonna mix up some fun and serious ones.
And by the way, if you haven't heard already, 90 of our episodes of the show just went live on Amazon, so I'm gonna continue bugging you guys to check that out, because we just launched today. We spent, our team spent 5 months getting that catalog ready to go live, which happened today, and it's because of you guys. We got so many messages from you guys saying you wanted to watch more than just clips. So 90 episodes live on Amazon. There might be a few that aren't up yet. If that's the case, they'll be going up over the next day or so, but that's because of you guys. So if you get a chance, check it out. Also, our new podcast where you can listen to the full uninterrupted interview. What were you going to say, Ryan?
Okay,
What's so funny?
These two go together. So someone named Mike Rolfing asked, "Did your shoulders get rained on?"
Did my shoulders get rained on? Mike Rolfing's the executive producer of the show. Yeah, my shoulders got rained on. Mike, this is actually, thank you for acknowledging the style. We have a new clothing partner. This is John Barbados. Got the John Barbados shoes, jeans. Yeah.
Brian Johnson asked, "Where do you shop for your Henleys?"
Oh, for my what?
Your Henleys.
For my Henleys.
That's like that.
Oh. Yeah, so John Barbados is a new partner of the show. They actually, I felt like I was dressing a little too old in episodes, and John Barbados has just young, fashionable clothes, and so if you've seen me starting to dress a little different for episodes recently, that's because they're dressing me. It's a lot of fun, actually, to go in and have help with picking out outfits, and not trying to sound too metrosexual here, but it's a good time, and they've been putting together more casual looks for me as well. So yeah, it's fun.
Nathan Gold asked if you will interview a musician ever.
Will I interview a musician ever? I'd love to. We're in St. Louis right now. I heard Drake was coming to town this weekend. I mean, he'd be fascinating to interview. Garth Brooks would be fascinating to interview. Have there been any other names we've bounced around before, Brian? Oh, John Bon Jovi is another one, big sports fan who we've been interested in, who I've pursued pretty aggressively and haven't been able to make happen yet.
Like Lil Wayne.
Yeah, Lil Wayne, yeah. So there are a number. We would certainly like to. We're in season 9 of the show. We've done 100 plus episodes. The audience size has grown. We're doing, a couple million TV viewers an episode, 2.5 million digital views in episodes. So the audience is slowly growing versus season 1, where we were lucky to collectively have 10,000 viewers in episode. It has made it easier to get access to people as the audience size grown. It's also made it easier to get access to people as we've gotten access to other big name individuals. But the reality is, it is still a huge battle, and all of these stars are hit up by countless media outlets asking for interviews, and everybody has decent audience sizes. So, it's tough to get access to these people. So some of the people, there are a lot of people we've yet to feature, but it's not because of a, lack of effort. It's just tough to get access to them.
Ryan Thomas asked if you have any advice for podcast hosts and aspiring sports interviewers.
Well, thanks for the question, Ryan. I would actually say if you have, you know how to launch a successful podcast, maybe you can give me some tips, because we're in the early stages of figuring this out. So, I wouldn't take any direction from me on that front. On the interview front, I would say, if you're interested in doing interviews, just prepare, and prepare extensively, because I know I have zero talent whatsoever when it comes to doing this. The only thing I have going for me is I spend a ton of time preparing for each interview, and if you do that, that's going to separate you from 99.9% the other people doing the interviews, and oftentimes that just inherently encourages the person you're sitting down with to give you better access than you would otherwise normally get. The other thing I'd mention is if you want to get into media or sports media or whatever it might be, just figure out an avenue to start getting a lot of reps. You don't need to have, be at an outlet that has a big audience. You don't need to be an intern at, some high-profile outlet. You just need to put yourself in a situation where you're getting reps and developing a style and getting practice. So that is most important. Then do whatever you can to network and meet individuals, because who you know and relationships you build are also crucially important.
All right, so I got to get one for Ye Stars, because he has asked this question like 8 times. Ye Stars.
Ye Stars.
His YouTube name. What was it like interviewing Bill Parcells?
What was it like interviewing Bill Parcells? It was great. He's a legend. We sat down with him as part of our Sean Payton episode taping. Parcells was one of Payton's mentors. Payton calls Parcells every year on Father's Day, so I, wanted to try and incorporate him into the episode featuring Sean. I coordinated the taping with Sean direct. I actually was fortunate enough to get invited to dinner this past summer by Tony Romo, and at dinner, Sean Payton was there, and so that was what led to the episode taping. And anyway, I told Sean I'd love to interview Parcells as part of the taping, and Sean just gave me Bill's cell phone number, and I called him up, he answered, and we ended up taping it a couple days later, flying to New York at the last minute to Saratoga Springs, which is, I think, about a half hour drive from Albany. He's big into horse racing, and interviewed him there, and just nice, down to earth, and hopefully we can feature Parcells for an upcoming episode, and I actually profile him for one.
Who's a person who your perspective changed of that person after you actually got to spend time with them and feature them for an episode?
Somebody who's my perspective changed of that person after sitting. I could tie in one. I'll give you one that just comes to mind that we did this season. Jon Hamm. I was such a huge fan of Mad Men. From St. Louis, born and raised in St. Louis. Hamm is from St. Louis as well, and massive sports fan, hosted the ESPYs, played in $1 Million Arm, baseball movie. So I thought there was enough of a tie to feature him for an episode. Wasn't really having much luck in tracking Hamm down, and Joe Buck, who's also from St. Louis, who we featured for an episode before as well, actually introduced me to John on email. And we haven't featured a lot of Hollywood folks, and you never know how they're actually going to be. And Hamm, before he agreed to the taping, he invited me to breakfast in New York. So I flew up there, had breakfast with him, talked about our vision for the taping, and then several months later, we spent part of the day with him in LA doing this, and just the most down-to-earth, laid-back dude you're ever gonna meet, and it's great to me, great to the crew, and it's always a pleasure when you spend time with people like that, especially ones that have been so successful and yet they're just normal people.
Luke O'Brien asks, what motivates you and gets you out of bed every day?
What motivates me and gets me out of bed every day? I guess a couple things. I first just want to continue improving and getting better. And it's exciting when there's like tangible evidence that that's happening. Also, with this show specifically, I really want to have the opportunity to see how far we can take it. And, we're on broadcast TV, the ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox stations. We're on regional sports television networks. We're on international cable outlets. So ESPN carries us internationally in a bunch of territories. Fox Sports carries us internationally in a bunch of territories. And I created the business behind the show. So personally traveled all over, signing on different outlets to carry the show. It's our team here in St. Louis, of about 10 folks that shoot the show, produce the show, edit the show. We do everything in-house. We handle ad sales and sponsor development for the show in-house. And initially that started just because I knew nobody was going to actually give me the opportunity to do what I wanted to do. I didn't have the resume to warrant it, so I'd gotten laid off in March of 2009, height of the financial crisis, and I just figured, what the heck, let's see if, 22 years old, I can figure out how to do it myself, and slowly been able to grow it. We have a great team here in St. Louis that's part of our in-depth crew, and so the hope on our end is we can continue building the audience of the show, getting better access to people, eventually open up the show where we're more regularly featuring people from all walks of life. So, one week it's Tom Brady, the week after that it's President Obama, the week after that it's Julia Roberts, the week after that we're in some far-flung region of the world doing a human interest story. I've said that a bunch before, but that I think is the eventual goal, and then hopefully we can continue to grow the company with that. I feel really lucky to have the opportunity to tape these episodes, tell these stories, and work with a great team here, even though I probably don't tell them that as much as I should. And the hope is we can just continue improving and getting better and building something.
Chris LeBeau, who is a top fan on Facebook.
Hey Chris, thanks for watching.
Asks,
are you adding that, or did
he
you
says
say
top fan?
Okay. Hey Chris.
So he's asking for your Mount Rushmore people you'd like to interview.
Oh man, my Mount Rushmore people I'd like to interview. Okay, a few that immediately come to mind: Michael Jordan, Lance Armstrong, Tiger Woods. Those are three that I've made very limited progress on that I would love to do. Lance actually talked about our Bodie Miller episode taping when Lance had Bodie on his podcast, and I thought that would make him open to doing a taping with us, and reached out, and nope, wasn't the case. Tiger, we haven't had much luck with either. We did go to New Zealand in 2011, right after he fired his longtime caddy Steve Williams, and we got the first interview with Steve after he was fired by Tiger, and that made a lot of news. So I'm sure that probably didn't encourage Tiger to do a taping with us because Steve was pretty rough on, you know, some of his comments that he made about Tiger. Michael Jordan, I've been lucky to have some dialogue with Michael. Hopeful that it will happen at some point, but we haven't had the opportunity to do it yet. But you know, fingers crossed on that one.
So there's been a bunch of comments just throughout about your beard.
My beard?
Are you gonna shave anytime soon, or are you gonna keep it?
Well, so we're taping our best of show tomorrow, and so you know we didn't have any tapings for a handful of weeks, and I figured, what the heck, I'm gonna try and grow a beard for the best of show. I don't know. I'm gonna see how long I can grow this thing out. I probably don't look all that great with it, but it's fun, and it's past the stage of itching. I do inevitably though just sit at my desk like all day and go like this, as you probably see when we're talking, Brian. So I don't know. I'm gonna try and grow it out for a little bit longer. Why? Is everybody saying in the comments they absolutely hate it?
No, they just asked if you're gonna shave.
Oh.
Some people are saying keep rocking it.
Keep rocking it. Yeah. So I mean, it's not really full yet. Going to my buddy's wedding on Saturday. That a groomsman, and I don't know that they're gonna love that for the wedding photos, but whatever, it's fun.
Jake J asks, did you have any drinks with John Daly after you interviewed him?
Did I have any drinks with John Daly after I interviewed him? Did not. No drinks with John Daly. You know, the only thing that I've probably done some stupid crap as part of episodes tapings for the show. You know, like the motorcycle backflip with Travis Pastrana and some of the other you know, stuff we've done or places we've gone. The only thing that I've never, the only thing that I said no to, that I mentioned once before, I think Verity ended up doing this, but Daly wanted me to lay on the ground, put a golf tee in my mouth, and drive the golf ball off out of my mouth. And you know, I'm just thinking to myself, they're just varying degrees of bad in terms of what could happen if anything goes wrong, and I decided against that one. I like Daly a lot. Actually, the PGA was in some lawsuit against Daly, and I had to be deposed as part of that because of something he said in our interview. So that was the one downside to that taping, but Daly get along with him really well. He was a blast. We went to Dardanelle, Arkansas for it, and yeah, I mean, what's not to, you know, have fun with when you're spending the day with John Daly.
Here's another one I've seen a few times. If you were to be interviewed, who would you like to interview you?
If I would be interviewed, who would I like to interview me? Well, first, I don't think anybody would really want to interview me that I would want to interview me. But, so, yeah, I mean, that's just never going to happen. I mean, I have had the opportunity previously to go on some late night shows before, which were fun. You know, went on the Tonight Show many years back, went on Conan O'Brien many years back, but you know, it's been a while since I've done a late night show, so maybe we can do one of those again, you know, sometime soon. And again, just some of the, there are a lot of interviewers whose talent I really respect. So, you know, if I could just, you know, grab a bite to eat with Howard Stern or Oprah or, you know, some of those type of folks who have just very different abilities but are all talented, that'd be such a treat. You got any questions?
No, I mean they're still rolling in.
They're still rolling in? All right.
But let's do a few more.
We'll do a few more questions, and then I promise to start doing this a little more regularly if you guys like it. I mean, if you think I suck and don't want us to do it more regularly, you can give that in feedback as well. But hopefully we can start doing this a little more consistently. Again, before we get to the final few questions, 90 episodes of the show just went live on Amazon, free to Prime members. So if you get a chance, check it out. Again, it was because of your guys' recommendations, wanting to get our library of full episodes. So that's why we did it. Also just launched a podcast. So subscribe to our podcast. It's one place you can get the full uninterrupted interview. Would love to know what you think if you get a chance to check those out. Shoot me an email, graham@grahambensinger.com, or tweet me, or message me on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Would love to know what you guys think, because again, we just launched both of those, so we're pretty excited to hear about that. All right, a few more questions.
Joseph C. asked for your most intimidating interview.
Hands down, Jim Brown. I've said this one before as well. I mean, he's arguably the best football player ever to live, the most one of the most socially significant athletes of the past century. J. Edgar Hoover had FBI spies tracking Brown for the better portion of a decade because they viewed him as a political threat. Retired at the height of his career to get into acting, paved the way for black actors, created hundreds of black-owned and operated businesses through his AmeriCAN Foundation. So had such a fascinating life, and the group of people he called friends back in the day were Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali, Frank Sinatra, Hugh Hefner, Jack Nicholson, Richard Pryor, if I didn't already mention that name, and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. So the group of friends he just had is extraordinary. He's older now, walks with a cane often, but could still kick my you-know-what a million times over. And he's very quick to ask you, or he's very quick to tell you if you ask a stupid question. So on more than one occasion, I've asked a question that he views reasonably stupid. And he just shuts it down and he's like, "Move on, son." And so you're always kind of on edge going into an interview with him, and I've been lucky enough to sit down with him on a few occasions before at his home in the Hollywood Hills. But it's always a treat.
I'm having the same question actually on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
People are asking, Mike Kelly and Michael T are asking.
Mike and Mike
In the morning.
Hey guys.
They're asking if you ever showcase behind the scenes stuff, or what kind of stuff happens behind the scenes that people don't see.
We are actually just starting to do this more consistently. With each taping, we're starting to put out behind the scenes clip on our YouTube channel. So, just taped one today, actually, voiced one for the clip we're putting out for our Home Depot co-founder and Falcons owner Arthur Blank episode, but we've done one for a lot of tapings, from Dan Bilzerian to we're working on one for Sean Payton to what are some others that we've put out there? Bernie Ecclestone in Azerbaijan, Richard Branson in the Bahamas. Alex Smith, the Redskins quarterback. So yeah, we're starting to do more of that, and I'm also starting to do some of that stuff with Instagram stories, as well as we work to grow our embarrassingly small Instagram audience. So
let's do two more.
Corey asked, two more.
Corey asked if you'll ever do a live show.
I'm sure we'll do something like that at some point, because we're always up for trying new stuff. We did do a live audience taping a while back with Panthers quarterback Cam Newton in Charlotte in front of 650 folks. And that was so much fun. It's the only time I've ever done a taping interviewing somebody in front of an audience, and Cam is such... he's just so energetic, and he played off the crowd, and he stood up and simulated a play calling pass, and so that was such a great time. We're working on trying to find another a figure to do a live audience taping with. So definitely that, and probably at some point down the line we'll actually do live, but nothing on that front on the foreseeable future, other than going live through our various social and digital platforms on a regular basis.
A lot of people are asking about your preparation for interviews, but here's another one that stood out.
Okay.
How do you break the ice with someone who's maybe more reserved?
How do I break the ice with somebody who's more reserved? It always depends on how much time you have the opportunity to spend with the person. So if the person's flexible on time, you might try and take them out to a meal, or arrive extra early to, if we're doing it at their home, talk to them in their kitchen or wherever, with the cameras just not on us, because establishing some degree of trust is so important, and sometimes you're able to do that through talking to the person ahead of time. Other times, if they're on a tight schedule and they're just in and out and they sit down and a minute or two later the cameras are on, you just kind of have to do it through preparation, and the hope is that they can see you prepared enough for the taping where they develop some level of respect for you and are willing to maybe share a little more than they'd otherwise normally be comfortable doing because of that. But great question, and that's what it's all about, trying to make the person you're featuring comfortable. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this. Hopefully I haven't bored you too much. Yes, Brian?
Just one other thing.
Yeah.
We're getting a ton of people throwing guest suggestions
Oh,
our way.
yeah.
And so all these comments will be saved. We'll scroll
Okay.
through them. We really appreciate everybody throwing some suggestions our way. We couldn't get to all the recommendations, but we will after this.
Yeah, absolutely. By all means, and if you get a chance, continue to send guest suggestions in, because I'm all ears. We're constantly looking for new people to feature. It's just us here at In Depth coming up with names, so we have a small team. So any ideas that you can send our way would be awesome. Send them on Facebook, post them on YouTube, tweet me, email me, and if you get a chance, if you haven't subscribed to any of our platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all at Graham Bensinger, YouTube as well. Subscribe to our podcast if you get a chance. Check out our catalog that just went live on Amazon, 90 full episodes. And thank you guys again for watching our content. I mean, that's the only reason we have the opportunity to continue doing this, is because you guys are checking us out. If you've never watched the show on TV, go to grahambensinger.com and you can see the TV times in your area. Thanks again for the support. We also appreciate it. Promise to do more of these, and thanks for watching, guys. As I try and figure out how to exit this on YouTube. Uh-oh. Hello, we're still going. Bye.